Hey, good morning, guys. It's about 7:47 a.m. Yeah, I woke up about almost an hour ago, about I would say 51 minutes ago. So I'm still waking up a little bit. This is like my fourth time trying to do this vlog. But yeah, I woke up about, like I said, 51 minutes ago. Still waking up. I got my coffee in my room. I'm in the process of making my bed. As you can see here, there's my coffee right there. And then my bed's in the process of being made. The plus is the reason they're down here to make it real quick. And I do this every night and I do it every morning in reverse. But every night when I get ready to go to bed, I take these plushes right here, which is the Minnie, the Sally, the Sonic, the Lola, the Judy, the Gazelle, the other Sonic, the Big Amy, and the Shadow. What I do is I take them off of the pillow, off the bed because they're leaned up against the pillow there. And I put them down here and here, in certain areas. Then what I do is I go and I take the pony plushes, which are lined up against the pillows here, and I put them down here. Then I take the pillows down, and then what I do is I get on the bed, and after I fold these throw blankets over just a little bit like that, kind of like fold them in half. What I do is I climb up, and I take all the mini plushes, all the mini Sonic plushes, the mini Mickey and Minnie plushes, and the mini Dynamite, Yogi Bear, Cindy Bear, Boo Boo Bear plushes, and I put them down here as well, so that way I can have a clear bed to sleep on. And then every morning, as you could see, I'm always doing it in reverse. I always want to make sure everything is pretty much all, all back to normal, and during the day. And I do take my time when I do it, even if I have to, continue it into the afternoon, especially if I wake up late and everything. I do take my time. I don't rush myself and all that when I'm doing it. Drink some coffee there. McCafe coffee, if you will. But yeah, anyway, the reason I wanted to do this vlog is I hope you all had a good week. Not really much happened this week, I will say that. The only thing that I can tell you is I did not get hired at Target, but they are apparently going to keep my resume and application on file because all jobs, have to do that to give people equal opportunity to work. And if they do call me, they will call me. If not, that's fine. But I have other places I applied to as well this past week, mostly on Saturday. Those places being Home Depot, the other one being Safeway, Lowe's, and then Nob Hill, here in town. So one of them has got to call me eventually. But I think what's going on is because we're in the process of tax season, that might be a little difficult, but we'll see. I don't think it will be, but it might be. We'll see. But it's all up to God and where He wants to send me and everything. And apparently my seasonal application for Kohl's back in Patterson is still in progress. So obviously they might be calling me too, just in case something comes up for the seasonal aspect of all that. And yeah, my mom's not looking forward to that if it occurs, especially if it goes into the summer. She's like, ain't gonna happen. But I've worked there, briefly, for the 4 months I was there, and they are workable with people. So if they can work with me, to the point that I can, get in there and work for a certain amount, work at a certain time and get off at a certain time, I think that might be beneficial as well, but we'll see. We shall see. I'm also going to try for the Kohl's in Turlock as well, but wherever it's going to open up at, because I know there's openings. There's got to be some openings. And we'll just, like I said, just go from there. And Costco still has my application on file, so we'll see what happens there, as well. I applied twice at Home Depot too, one for cashier and then one for, I think, merchandise or something like that. So, we'll see what happens there in the long run. But outside of that, like I said, not really too much occurred, except for the fact that my mom's car this week has not been doing so well for her. And what I mean by that is the fact that her mirror, this is not the mirror, but her mirror, which is just like this, it's a little smaller, a few inches smaller. On Thursday, it fell in the middle here, where if you see the reflection of my pinky in the mirror, right down that middle there, that, that middle part broke. Yeah, the mirror, I don't know if it fell when she was leaving Livermore to come back to Newman, or she was coming into Patterson and making a stop to get a coffee or something like that at McDonald's. And, I don't know what it was, but basically on her way back, the mirror fell and it broke, like I said, right down the middle. It cracked. And even though she could still use it to see out see out of it, she has to replace it. So what she did, she looked online, and she also had me take pictures of it so we can match it up. And it looks like we've done that with that mirror there. The only thing that she's wondering about is why it fell off, because it's fallen off before but never broke, until this time. And what it is I think it's the backing, because most of the videos she would notice when trying to figure out, okay, how am I going to put this back on there without it falling again? Most of the mirrors that would have videos showing how to install it have people screwing in a little screw next to the metal part where you hook it in. And what's interesting is when we looked at the picture of the back of the mirror that originally was in the car when she got it many years ago, about a decade ago, when she first got that car, courtesy of my oldest sister, who got it at an auction. When she first got it, the mirror there that fell, apparently when you look at the back of the mirror, it looks like, someone, I'm assuming, super glued, use strong adhesive glue, if you will, to attach the middle part, to the thing, and keep it in there to hold it in. And my assumption is the glue finally wore off over time. Over time, I should say. Over time, the glue was starting to wear off, and it just finally, gave out. Like it could still hook in, which makes it tolerable to use, but it basically finally just went, I'm done. It just went, down. And again, it's gone down before several times, but in this case, I think what happened is, the thing finally just, said, enough's enough, I'm done. And it just fell, and this time when it fell, it cracked. The mirror cracked. So yeah, we ended up getting a new one off Amazon. She used her bank card and my Amazon account to make it happen, which is that one right here, which is this one right here, if you will. So we ended up getting that. And like I said, the videos she would watch to see how, she can install it, hopefully without issue. A lot of the videos show people screwing it in. And the reason it would screw in, apparently, is there's like this little circular groove in the middle of the metal part. I'm trying to think about what I was going to say there. Again, it's early, I do apologize, still waking up. But there's like a groove in the middle part here on the other side. There's a little circular groove on the middle part of the other side of that metal. And when I saw that, I explained to her the best I could, in the best way I could, that's basically to lock it in, to tighten it in, because there's a lot of things out there, a lot of the things that you work on, you build, you install, that has something like that, to where it helps lock in the thing you're trying to keep afloat, or keep intact, if you will. I think my desk here is very similar in that manner, because when I put it together, I think there was a couple of things on there to where I had to screw it in, but the thing I was screwing it into had like a little indent, a little groove, if you will, in there, to where I wouldn't go all the way with the screw, but just enough to lock it in. So that's basically what it is. It's to lock it in place. It's to lock it in place, if you will, so it doesn't fall. And like I said, I think whoever had the original mirror in there either replaced the mirror, either replaced the other mirror before it with that mirror that fell, or they replaced the back or the handle of the mirror with something a little bit more cheaper. Or they did something. To where I could tell they had to glue it in. They had to glue it in and everything. So And like I said, over time, it looks like the glue just finally gave out. So yeah, we had to get a new mirror for her, but now she has to wait to get her car back today from my brother-in-law, my older sister's husband's, place, because she's always had this leakage happening, in the driveway here. She would always have the leakage happening, in the driveway here. And she could never figure out exactly what that leakage was. And she's thinking, oh, it's excess water, or excess oil, or whatever. But she noticed it was happening over there when she went to go visit them. So my brother-in-law checked it for her, and he found out exactly what it was. So he's going to take it to AutoZone today, or at least take the part he needs to get replaced over to AutoZone to see if he can get it, taken care of. And then, she can get her car back today. She hopefully can get her car back today. Because as you noticed there, she had to take the truck. Outside of that, we also on Saturday got treated to dinner by my niece, who, we're always treating her either, to dinner ourselves, like my mom's paying for it, or her mom's paying for it, or I'm, like when I first got here long ago after my great nephew was born, I did that for her, and her boyfriend at the time. I did that for them. Or my middle sibling, my second oldest sister, and her family's doing it. So she just wanted to do it in return, and that's what she did. Well, let's just say the service wasn't so good at the end because apparently we got rushed out, and everybody wasn't happy with the fact that we got rushed out by this lady who basically, I guess, was grouchy or something like that. I don't really know. It just wasn't, it's like up to that moment, everything was good. We were all happy to be together. But in the end, it wasn't a pleasant experience, being rushed out of a restaurant. I mean, when you yourself are the one paying, when you yourself are the one paying to treat everybody, and you're paying a certain amount, you expect to have the waiters and the waitresses, the servers, if you will, the management to be a little bit more kind to you, right? A little bit more respectful. But that didn't happen here, and my niece was not happy. I'll put it that way. My niece was not happy. And I don't know if she called the manager or not because she had to work. But basically what I'm thinking is going to happen, and my middle sibling, my second older sister has said this, my niece, might dispute the charges. She might dispute the transaction on her, with her bank to say, hey, the service wasn't good and I want my money back. So, because that's a good amount of money she spent on all of us. And yeah, she's not going to just let that go because of bad service. But outside of that, we had a good time. We were all happy to see each other. I ordered, my food that I ordered was baby back ribs, rack of lamb, if you will. Not a big rack of lambs, but it's a kind of rack that, it's kind of like it's basically baby back ribs and everything. Ribs, full on ribs, baby back ribs, whatever you want to call it. And, I could tell you how good this was cooked. Because when I started to dig into the ribs, the ribs started to fall off the bone. They did. They started to literally fall off the bone. I'm not joking. They fell off the bone is what they did. So that was kind of nice to see, because I've never had that really happen in quite some time, to where the ribs fall off the bone, but in this case they did. In this case they did. And that's usually a good sign of, hey, if they can fall off the bone, that means it's done, and it's done well. So but yeah, and mine apparently for like, I don't know, the second or third time since I've been back, mine was like the last one to be served. And I think it's because they were also busy, and they had a lot going on. So yeah, it was one of those kind of situations. But overall we had a good time, except like I said, towards the end, where this lady was like rushing us out. She said, oh, I got this party of 25, and I need this area. And my middle sibling, my second older sister, and her husband, and their sons are usually, well, at least their second child, are usually, I guess you could say, they're usually semi-regular customers, the semi-regular customers. So these people know who they are. And yeah, she, even though she said she'd still go back, she wasn't happy with the fact that we got rushed out either. So yeah, I don't know, she called. I don't know if my older sister called. I don't know if my niece called. I'm sure they did. And we'll see what happens from there. And again, my niece is apparently going to dispute the transaction in the process. But yeah, besides that, not really much happened. If you will, not really much happened. Like I said, I think I mentioned it earlier, I did apply to some places over the weekend. Even while we were, going to the fruit yard, we were, in the process of going there. I applied at Home Depot. I applied at Lowe's, Nob Hill, I think, and Safeway. I think I mentioned those earlier. So I applied to those places. So keep that all in prayer. I still have a seasonal application in the works, to go back to Kohl's and see what happens there if that opens up. And I know my mom's not too thrilled about it, but I think sometimes when she says, "Oh, I'm not going to do this," or "It did this to me," and everything, usually when she says that, especially at night or when she's just waking up, she's not, when she says that, you could tell that she's still not all there. Her brain's not fully turned on, like a lot of ours. It's not when we get ready to go to bed because we're tired. Our bodies are shutting down for the night, for the day, or we're just waking up and our bodies have yet to wake up, fully be functional. So yeah, I think she just expresses herself, because I noticed all the other times when I would say something about, Kohl's and everything, because the first time I mentioned that I reapplied there, she didn't really say nothing much, but now she does. And I think it's just her, being tired or just waking up and just expressing herself, being like, she's not thinking straight of, if I shouldn't say that because that's discouraging. It's, her brain's not, fully functioning at that moment. That's the whole deal. Her brain's not fully functioning, at that moment. But yeah, I applied there. That's in progress, so they might call me again. And I've worked with them, and they like me. They like me over there, so we'll see what happens. We'll see what happens. But overall, can't really say much more than that. Of what's been going on. But keep all those applications that I made out in prayer, and hope I get into something before this year's out, at least before spring's out. Just hope I get into something as well. And also keep in prayer the fact that if I don't see any progress before then, that I'll be able to, go out to Kansas to see my father for his birthday in April. So, yeah, just keep that all in prayer. And like I said, just wanted to do this little vlog, let you guys know what's going on and what's been happening. Let me know what your thoughts are on what I've had to say here. If any of you have experienced something like this in the past, love to hear your thoughts on your own experiences and what you went through. Comment below, live chat during the premiere, and until next time, which I'll probably do some videos later on as well throughout this day, and, just in case something doesn't come up. Let me know again your thoughts on everything here. And again, I do apologize if I sound a little slurry and all that. Like I said, I just woke up a little while ago, so again, just wanted to do this little vlog for you guys on this Monday morning. But until next time, guys, talk to y'all later.